Two women who had nothing left except each other and a coffin full of gold that would destroy them. Yeah, you picked the right one. This film has no breaks, no mercy. Trust me, it only gets worse. This isn't a basic heist. It's revenge. Raw, violent, unapologetic revenge. A fortune in gold bars awaits them, a path to freedom or a one-way ticket to ruin. Desperation turns to fangs, and their choices backfire harder than anyone could imagine. I'm Korean Crime Recaps. Luck isn't on their side, but fortune lingers just out of reach. Enough chit-chat. Let's dive into Project Y. First up is Mi-sun, a girl living two lives. By day, she's a quiet flower clerk, dreaming of owning the shop and building a normal life with Do-kyung, her ride or die. 700 million won in cash, enough to escape the dark life she's trapped in for good. By night, she's a top club hostess, but she draws a firm line. That blue bracelet is her rule. No extra services, period. It's her last bit of dignity, a promise to the future she's fighting to build, and no one dares cross it. Then there's Do-kyung, a hot-tempered firecracker with no patience for nonsense. She drives club girls around town, and she's Mi-sun's rock, her ride or die. The two are two halves of one soul, clinging to their shared dream together. Mess with one, and you'll face the wrath of both. Fate is cruel, though. Just as they're inches from their dream, life hits them hard. Mi-sun is ready to quit the club, but then the worst news arrives. Everything begins to fall apart.
언니, 저 실장한테 빌라 계약한 거 맞지? 언니 이번 주에 이사 아니야? 이거 봐봐, 이거 맞지?
Their old boss, Mr. Choi, scammed them all blind. He promised to buy cheap houses, took every penny they had, including Mi-sun's 700 million won in cash, and lost it all gambling. Then he took his own life, a cowardly end to a selfish act. Grief and rage overtook them. They trashed his funeral and stole the condolence cash, a desperate act born of betrayal.
멋있어 일어나세요. 나가. 나가야.
신년들이 남의 상가집에서 이게 뭐하는 짓이야! 씨발.
Raw anger and pure frustration fueled their actions, and Do-kyung's violence wasn't random. She was backed into a corner with no rules left to follow and no justice in sight. This was survival mode. But the cash they stole was pennies, nowhere near the 700 million won they'd lost in the scam. And things were about to get far worse. Do-kyung heard a rumor about a rigged basketball game and bet their last dime on it. She won big, a glimmer of luck at last, but the website went down, claiming maintenance as a flimsy excuse. They were scammed again, left completely broke. All hope vanished, and Mi-sun knew she had to break. This was the moment darkness took over.
대표님 어떠세요? 얘가 이 가게 에이스 오브 에이스.
She took off the blue bracelet and put on a red one, a silent signal of the line she was about to cross. Her last bit of dignity was crushed, and darkness closed in around her. But just as all seemed lost, fate shifted, offering a glimmer of hope that might just be a deadly trap. Do-kyung was smoking outside when she heard some men talking about the new boss, Boss To, who was hiding a ton of cash. It was their chance to reclaim what they'd lost. Boss To's wife had spilled the secret of the hidden cash. She was cheating with a dancer, and her carelessness would prove deadly. Shortly after, Do-kyung received a ride request, one that brought her face to face with the wife and the dancer. Drunk and reckless, the wife rambled again about the cash, unknowingly sealing her own fate.
우리 여보가 경기도에 땅을 몇 곳 샀거든? 그래서 현금 7억을 모은 데가 어디냐면
잠시만.
They stopped to throw up, and Do-kyung took the chance to check their phones, getting a rough location of the cash. But she froze when she saw Mi-sun's new assignment, realizing her best friend was in danger. Do-kyung raced back to the club just as a man attacked Mi-sun, slamming a bottle over his head to save her bestie. It was loyalty in its purest form. The kind of bond that feels like family.
석구가 토 사장 돈 훔칠 거야. 현금 7억. 우리가 잃은 거랑 똑같다. 그거 훔쳐다가 네 돈 갚을 테니까 걱정하지 마. 토 사장 그 새끼 장난 아니야. 잘못되면 우리 진짜 죽을 수도 있어. 어떻게든 살아보자며. 너 이 짓거리 4년 더 하면서 살 수 있어? 같이 하자. 내가 토 사장 뒤 좀 캐볼게.
They made a decision then, no more being victims. They would hunt Boss To, and they followed him to a private club where Do-kyung warned Mi-sun to watch his bodyguard, Jong-seo, a cold, deadly man who was Boss To's right hand. The club girls wore masks, providing the perfect cover for Mi-sun to get close.
실례할게요. 잠깐 앉아도 되죠?
웰컴. 어서 오세요. 와우.
Boss 2 was extremely paranoid, refusing to let Mi-sun touch his drink as tension hung thick in the air. Then a man said one thing that changed everything, a twist that would alter their mission forever.
씨발 숙녀한테 이거 아니지. 그 우리 씨발 흑표범한테 이럴 수가 있어. 내가 겁나 많으면서 씨발 그 빌라 잭팟 터진 것도 있고 그 최 실장 그 새끼 뒤지게 만든 것.
Boss 2 wasn't just a target. He was the mastermind behind the scam that had ruined their lives. He was the root of all their pain, making this mission personal in every way. Mi-sun's motive shifted. This wasn't theft anymore. It was war, pure and unrelenting revenge. Outside, Do-kyung took action, crashing her car into Boss To's to draw him out. As he ran to check on his vehicle, Mi-sun planted a tracker, securing the exact location of the cache with clean, calculated precision. They followed the GPS out of the city, into the middle of nowhere, until they reached a cemetery. They dug and dug. Then, they found the bag containing 700 million won in cash, and joy and relief washed over them as they hugged. Finally, a measure of payback. But their celebration was premature. Their pickaxe hit wood, and curiosity got the best of them. They pried it open, and their jaws dropped at the sight before them. Inside was a coffin filled with gold bars, far more valuable than the 700 million won in cash they'd lost. That 700 million had been their dream, a ticket to normalcy and safety. This gold, though, was a death sentence, a wealth beyond their wildest dreams that could just as easily become a one-way ticket to hell. Their choice in that moment would change everything. The line between right and wrong irrevocably crossed. They took the gold, knowing there was no turning back, no going home, and no mercy left to give.
이거 어차피 다 우리 같은 애들 피 빨아먹은 돈이야. 우리가 가져도 돼. 하긴 최 실장 뒷배도 토 사장이야. 반만 가져간다고 사장 봐주겠냐? 한번 가는 거 인생 시계 가야지. 그치? 존나 시계 가야지.
Shock still lingered as a call pulled up. The dancer who wanted the cash for himself. A chase ensued and chaos was inevitable. He forced them off the road, and panic set in. But Mi-sun remained cool as ice. She grabbed the cash bag and ran into the woods, using it as bait to draw him away. She knew exactly what he'd do, and her plan worked perfectly. He chased her, beat her, and took the cash before leaving them behind, completely oblivious to the gold hidden in their car. He glanced at their car, seeing Mi-sun and Do-kyung looking terrified, but the tinted windows hid the gold coffin in the back. It was a stroke of luck that would keep them alive a little longer.
너 미쳐 돌았냐? 어차피 7억 뺏길 거. 왜 그렇게 액션을 까? 이래야 의심을 안 하지. 저 거지 새끼 지금 7억만 있는 줄 알잖아. 저 새끼가 그렇게 믿어야 우리가 산다고. 됐다.
That was Mi-sun's brilliance. She played him hard, trading chump change for gold to throw him off their trail and buy them time to run. But that was just the start. Boss To found the dancer, and Jong-seo tortured him until he talked, naming Mi-sun and Do-kyung as the thieves. The hunt was on in earnest, and they were no longer safe. Unaware of the danger closing in, they planned to flee Korea with the gold, and there was only one person they could turn to, Do-kyung's mom, Ha-kyung, a distant fellow club girl. Desperation had them trusting the wrong person, a mistake that would have deadly consequences. Ha-kyung was a former top hostess, now involved with a Japanese diplomat, and and they hatched a plan to blackmail him using a video of him doing drugs. They would use his immunity to ship the gold out of the country, but Ha-kyung stole it all, leaving them confused and betrayed. But her actions weren't born of greed. They were born of protection.
네가 어떻게 그걸 가져가? 어? 그만해 차!
도경아, 오늘 엄마 은퇴할 거야. 니네 그 돈 그냥 먹으면 탈락.
네 거기 딱 기다려. 죽이러 가줄게, 씨발아.
Ha-kyung wasn't betraying them. She was protecting her daughter, knowing they stood no chance against Boss To. She went to a club, flashed the gold, and ordered 10 guys to draw all eyes to herself, creating a distraction so Do-kyung could run. It was a mother's love, ruthless and unyielding. Word reached Boss To fast, and he sent Jong-seo and the beaten dancer to the club. Mi-sun and Do-kyung showed up too, and the situation quickly escalated into a bloodbath. Jong-seo was deadly, but Ha-kyung remained calm as a cucumber. When Do-kyung burst in, Ha-kyung saw her chance, slamming an ashtray over Jong-seo's head to give them time to run. But Ha-kyung stopped, pushing Do-kyung away. This was her final stand, a sacrifice she was willing to make.
정신 똑바로 차리고 살아. 여기가 어디라고 기어들어와. 누가 누굴 구원해? 지 인생 지가 구하는 거야. 물러 터졌어. 물러 터졌어, 우리 도경이. 이도경, 나 최가영이야. 너 꼴리는 대로 살아. 나는 나 꼴리는 대로 살라니까. 가서 금이나 찾아. 나 지금 너 버리는 거야. 가.
That scream was her final stand, a mix of tough words and a mother's unwavering love. She gave her life for Do-kyung, a lifetime of chaos culminating in an act of pure courage. She wasn't a hero, just a mom doing whatever it took to save her daughter. Do-kyung left crying, but Mi-sun couldn't abandon Ha-kyung. She followed Jong-seo's car, determined to save her, and what she saw was horrific beyond words. They took Ha-kyung to an abandoned factory with a tar pit, throwing her into the boiling, sticky substance for a slow, agonizing death. Boss To wanted the gold, and when Ha-kyung saw Mi-sun hiding, she lied about the location to protect her. Mi-sun's phone slipped, nearly giving her away, but Ha-kyung grabbed Boss To, trying to pull him into the tar with her. Jong-seo stopped her, choking her, but Ha-kyung dragged him down with her as he begged for mercy. Boss To cut the rope without hesitation, letting both sink into the tar, a cold, ruthless act that revealed the true cost of greed. Ha-kyung's last look was heartbreaking, a mix of love, sadness, and unwavering resolve. She saved Mi-sun and Do-kyung, making the ultimate mother's sacrifice as she fought the darkness till the very end. That tar pit became her grave, and her death became the spark that ignited their final quest for revenge. Ha-kyung's death changed them irrevocably. They burned their fake passports and their old lives, knowing revenge was no longer an option. It was a promise to honor her sacrifice.
우리 화두시장 못 떠나. 아니, 안 떠나. 이 개새끼들 쪽내기 전까지.
They stopped running, finding the beaten dancer to get info on Boss To's next move. A last big bet on a rigged basketball game. His chance to make a comeback. It was their chance too. A shot they couldn't afford to miss. Mi-sun crafted a plan, gathering all the club girls who'd been scammed and spreading the word that Boss To would win the rigged game. Lots of bettors flocked in, driving the odds down. If he lost, he'd be ruined forever. She was playing the long game, and every move was calculated. She then talked to the star player, urging him to fight back, to regain his dignity and stop fixing games. On game day, the plan swung into motion. Mi-sun sent Boss To photos of the gold to distract him, and the player erupted, pulling off a last-second comeback to upset the rigged outcome. Boss To was done. He lost everything, left dead broke and furious. In his rage, he kidnapped the club girls, demanding the gold in exchange for their lives. The final showdown was set at the tar pit, the same place Ha-gyong had died. A poetic stage for justice or a bloodbath. They showed up as promised, and Mi-sun threw a gold bar into the tar as proof, demanding he let the girls go. Once the girls were safe, Do-kyung hit the gas, and chaos erupted. This was what revenge looked like, unfiltered and unforgiving. Do-kyung crashed into Boss To's goons, but he fought back, stopping her car and dragging her out to beat her. He was ready to throw her into the tar when Mi-sun attacked from behind, choking him with a rope. He broke free, grabbing a hook, but Mi-sun did something crazy. She dumped all the gold into the tar. She knew his weakness was greed, and he took the bait, fixating on the sinking gold. Gold sank, and just like that, he changed. Revenge didn't matter anymore, neither did killing. All he could see was the gold, his greed turning him into a slave to money. Mi-sun had used his own weakness against him, freeing herself in Do-kyung. Do-kyung saw her chance, tackling him into the tar where her mom had died, watching him sink without a trace. There was no joy, only exhaustion, the weight of everything they'd been through finally catching up to them. In the end, Mi-sun texted the dancer, giving him the tar pit location in exchange for his help, keeping a share of the gold for herself and Do-kyung. They packed up, leaving their old lives behind for a new start, a road trip to nowhere in particular. Project Y was over, but the scars of their journey would stay with them forever. This movie isn't perfect. It has plot holes and rushed moments, but as a thrilling ride, it's flawless. So-hee and Jong-seo deliver incredible performances, bringing to life characters who are beautiful, broken, and fiercely resilient. This isn't just a heist story. It's a tale of underdogs fighting back, surviving in a world that tries to crush them. Their revenge is a middle finger to the system, a reminder that even in the darkest moments, darkness can't snuff out the light of those who refuse to give up. No one's coming. Not for you. Not ever. I'm Korean Crime Recaps. See you next movie.